We're good to go. Hi guys, welcome to Ball in Your Court. This is me, Abhinav, your host here, and we've all been fed, watered, and have had a bit of a time off to review the entire madness of the IPL mega auction that took place on the weekend of 12th and 13th February at in Bangalore. And joining me to review all the action and the work that the 10 teams have done, and to rate whether who's been able to pass the litmus test on the auction table at least, or and who's come short. We've got a pretty star-studded cast over here. We've got Vinayak Mohanarangan of the deputy sports editor for the Field, which is Scroll's sporting arm. We've got Shubh Aggarwal of cricket.com. We've got cricket Twitter's most famous John's Vinayakk. We've got Sanchit Desai, the Rajasthan Royal superfan and host with the Third Man Cricket Show. And we've got law student and cricket fan Sidheswar Sahoo joining us over here. So welcome, gentlemen. It's quite a star-studded panel we've got here. So welcome, everybody.
Thank you
for
Abhinav.
having me. And
So Vinayak, I'll come to you first. Let's start off with our one-sentence reviews of the IPL mega auction, and what do you think of your one-sentence review of the auction? We'll start with you, Vinayak.
A bit too mega for me. It's just one line would be it just kept going on and on and on, and I like watching the mega auction, but I am not a fan of the auction process. So I hope we find a better way of finalizing teams going forward. That's my overall take.
Very interesting take. Shubh, I'll come to you. Your one-sentence review of this mega auction. What do you think?
I'll say exciting, first of all. I mean, all the auctions are exciting, and mega auctions even more so. But I think it raised one big question, and I really wonder, is the IPL ready for a 10-team season yet because of the talent pool? Because you need 22 more players now.
Yes.
22 more players. This is a 25% hike, and with a 25% increase, I mean, you can fill that with overseas players at least. But with the current lot of Indian players, I think a lot of teams are still struggling. And I guess 10-team IPL can work if you have 5 players per side right now. Or I think we will see a lot of trades happening in the next couple of years, more trades than we have seen till now, so that the teams will get settled. But for now, my review of the auction is that it has left every team crippled in at least one or two departments right now, including Mumbai Indians as well. So yeah, that would be it.
Johns, I'll come to you. Your one-sentence review of the IPL mega auction.
I think it was really fun and exciting. Some of the unpredictable things happened during the auction, which always happens. And one aspect I would like to see is 5 overseas players in the 11. That will be ideal moving forward, especially with the 10 teams, as everyone mentioned. You don't have that much talent pool, especially in few departments, in all-rounders, in fast bowling department, etc. We have seen the price hike of Prasidh Krishna or few other bowlers. I don't see them deserving that much. So that is where IPL needs to revamp the law, like 5 overseas players in a playing it. I'm not saying they might not be great, even especially there will be favoritism towards few countries, etc. Coaches coming from that countries, but still the teams are improving. If you look at IPL in 2015 and IPL in 2021, there has been lots of improvement over the years. The scouting teams, analytical works, etc., has been on top notch for almost every franchises. So ideally, I would prefer 5 overseas players moving forward. Hopefully, that will be happening after 1 or 2 years in this league.
A very, very interesting point. Sanchit, I'll come to you. Your one-sentence review.
Well, Abhinav, I'll just sum it up in one word, and I would say crazy. Like, I know you have described it similarly, but it was a crazy auction, and I completely agree with what Shubh and Johns had to say. I mean, all the price hike and all the team combinations have surely looked a little bit different than what we predicted. We've been going on and about how the squads will look after the mega auction, but it was completely different than what we expected. And I really agree with the point that is the IPL really ready for a 10-team format? Because yes, the auction may be, but the team may not. I think as Subs might have said it earlier in the show. But if you look at the team combinations, some of the teams really look stronger than before. But only consistent thing that I see in all the teams is the squad depth. So we all know that squad depth plays a massive role in the IPL tournament, and it being a 2 month for tournament right now, possibly can even be 94 games going forward after 2024. Squad depth is going to play a massive role, and I see the squad depth compromised in this season because of the availability of quality players, and the addition of two teams made it a little bit difficult. And I think that is why teams prefer to go for the players who actually played in the IPL, and that is why you see prices like 9 crores for someone like a Rahul Tewatia, who might have been the most surprising pick from the uncapped players to get that role. So I think that was the justified reason. Otherwise, as I'll back what I said earlier, crazy auction indeed.
Sidheswar, your take.
I'll just keep it short. I think both the days we saw some insane buys. Chaos was happening over the board in the marquee. I think marquee set was kind of okay. We knew okay, some teams were going for these players, and we know we know that okay, this team is going for this player and they have got it. But after that, I think there were some insane buys, as we were talking previously also, like Nicholas Puran thing that KKR were going for him when they had 20 crores in their purse left. So obviously, it kind of felt that some teams weren't prepared at all, like what they were going to buy and what their thought process was. But obviously, I think we can't say that sitting here. But I think about your concern about the quality of the IPL, I think I am also on the same side. I think I'll reiterate Johnson's point when he said that you need 5 overseas player, and if that can be changed further on.
Yeah.
But in the last line, I'll just add that maybe this time around, the strongest team in the IPL, and if you pick the weakest team in the IPL, the margin might not be that much. Let's say if compared to the previous IPLs, let's say just the last IPL, you pick up MI's team and you pick up SRH team. There was no competition at all. Like
Yes.
you knew MI were the superior team in every aspect here. But now you let's say pick up the most strongest team and the most weakest team. You won't find that huge a gap between that team. So I'm hoping that hopefully the IPL will be kind of more competitive. The quality might not be that great, but yeah, hoping for a competitive IPL at least. So yeah, that will be from my end.
Sidheshwar, I'll stick to you. To all the viewers on the live chat, we will be taking your questions and comments as well. And we've got a man with a very, very interesting name. Interesting name over here, Sir Benjamin Stokes, saying, "Hello, guys from the MVP of 2016 IPL." Hello, Sir Benjamin Stokes, but I think you got your year wrong. I think you were MVP in 2017, but yes, hello to you. And Robin Rounder saying, Shubh Bhaiya mass look. Of course, Shubh is a very, very popular face on cricket Twitter. Sidheshwar, I'll stick with you. Your most surprising moment of the IPL auction, the moment that truly took you off by surprise.
So I was kind of not ready, but on the second day, I was kind of the most important player that was looking forward to was Liam Livingstone's bid. I think after the first day ended, I kind of knew that there will be at least 3-4 teams going for him because they wanted a superstar hitter who could do it all, like say bowl leg spin, bowl off spin, hit around the park. So when I think that name came up, I was kind of looking forward to it. I think KKR, CSK, PBKs, Gujarat Titans, SRH. So being an SRH fan, also I was quite excited to see SRH go for him. But I think PBKs made that bid. So I'll say that Liam Livingstone's the bidding of that player I was kind of looking forward to it, and I think that will be my answer for my most surprising point of the auction. Yeah.
Okay, Johns, the moment that truly took you by surprise, your most surprising moment.
I will be going for Tewatia. I never expected Rahul Tewatia to go for that big, like 9 crores CSK was going all out. I never expected that to happen. After he had a very terrible last season, he performed 1 or 2 matches in UAE in 2020. But even if you look at last season, Rajasthan, Tiwate couldn't take a wicket at least. In the middle overs, when Rajasthan needed to take him wickets, that didn't happen, and he didn't play any match for Team India as well. He was selected for the England series, but there was fitness issues. He went to NC, etc. So he couldn't play any match for India as well. Then him going for that 9 crores, I never expected that to happen. Especially there were likes of Deepak Hooda was there, who was part of the Indian team, who did well. Even he went for that six something, and Tiwate going for 7, 9, 10 region. That took me a surprise.
I think your feelings have been summed up pretty well by Surya Sesha here, saying that Johns might have had his heart in the mouth like every CSK support fan during the Tewatia bidding mania. I think he's summed it up pretty well for you as well. Vinayakk, I'll come to you. Your most surprising moment of this auction, the one moment that's not left you even a day removed from the weekend.
Very simple. Deepak Hooda and Krunal Pandya in the same team, and it's that. This is nothing close. I mean, Josh Butler and Ashwin probably to an extent, but I mean they're two professionals, and I'm expecting them to get along. It's just a moment. But Deepak Hooda and Krunal Pandya was a big surprise. And if Vijay Shankar and Ambati Rayudu had happened also with nearly getting there, CSK nearly getting there for Vijay Shankar, that would have been interesting. It would have made for a nice trilogy there. But I think the biggest moment was Deep. I'm genuinely curious how that's going to go for Lucknow.
Very interesting point. I think the IPL auctions make for very strange bedfellows. Shubh, I'll come to you. Your most surprising moment of the auction.
I am still wondering that why SRH dropped out of the bid for Ishan Kishan. I think they had really pushed Mumbai to the hilt. Akash Ambani had his paddle up like uh, from the beginning of the bidding process of Ishan Kishan. But at 15.25, I think even he was caught in two minds. Before he raised the paddle for the final time for Ishan, I think he had a deep discussion with Mahela and Zahir Khan. Both after that, he only he made that final bid for him. And I think just 50 lakhs more from SRH, and Mumbai could have dropped out as well. And I think a lot of other teams would be rooting for SRH to get him, so that Mumbai are off their plan of getting Ishan Kishan back, and it would really take a hit on their team building process as well. And I also think that SRH needed him a lot more than Mumbai did.
True.
SRH was the only side at that point which did not have a premier Indian batsman, and even now their main Indian batter is Rahul Tripathi. I mean, he's good, but I still won't call him a premier Indian batsman in the league right now. So they had the funds for Ishan Kishan, SRH. They needed him more. They had pushed Mumbai to the hilt, just 50 lakhs more, and they could have got him, but they did not. And I don't know why they dropped out of the race just at the finishing line.
Very well said. And Sanchit, I'll come to you. I think your most surprising moment of this auction.
Punjab Kings bidding sensibly. But yeah, jokes aside, I mean, with all the talks about the inflated price tags in this mega auction, one thing that really surprised me happened in the first set. I mean, we all expected David Warner's price range should be in the middle of 6 to 8 crores because of the age factor, but I really didn't expect Quinton de Kock to go at such a price. I really thought that he might go for a good price because of the current form, plus also given the fact that he also opened quite well for Mumbai Indians. So Quinton de Kock's price, I think, was the most surprising moment for me. And as I said, I mean, lots of crazy buys in the auction, plus lots of cheap deals as well. So I was really surprised at the amount of bids the ex-Royals got. So we saw Anuj Rawat going for 3 or 4 crores, Rahul Tewatia crossing the 9 crores. So I don't know what seems to have been the case, but as a Rajasthan Royals fan, that was really an amazing thing to see. But yeah, I think I'll stick to what I said. Quinton de Kock's price, I think, has to be the most surprising one.
Very well put there, Sanchit. And Vinayak, say you talked about the trilogy that could have happened. I think there Surya has replied with it. There is a trilogy. KKR swapping Owen Morgan out for Alex Hales in a way that could be called divine retribution of Alex Hales. It is a good moment for Alex Hales that he's back in the IPL. For me personally, the most surprising moment was not what is happening on the in the auction room. It was something that was happening on cricket Twitter yesterday, when a lot of the cricket Twitter was praying to every other team that please, other teams, do not let Mumbai buy Jofra Archer and Tim David, which was, I mean, it was everybody was just going. I mean, it was like people were just praying that please don't let it happen, because it's almost like Subodh Chavan has just said. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi in one team, hashtag Mumbai Indians, which basically refers to Bumrah and Archer together. We will come to the team reviews, and the first team we want to review, starting appropriately with the defending champions, the Chennai Super Kings. Johns, I'll come to you for this because you are a CSK fan. What do you make of their auction, and if you have to pick up a playing 11 for them, what would it be?
I think they started silently on day one. Then they made very good calls on day two, inclusion of few very good youngsters. Everyone knows that Rajasthan Hangarekar, what he has done in last few months in the domestic cricket, in the IPL, in the World Cup as well. So that is a very good buy, and that shows that CSK is looking for the future as well, like next 3 years or next 5 years. Once these Ambatti Raidus or Robin Uthappa or MS Dhoni moves away, they need to build that talent, like surrounding Ruturaj Gaikwad, then Rajwardhan Hangarekar, and they have invested a few really good youngsters who has been doing well in the domestic talent, who was part of the net bowler list, like Mahesh Tikshana from Sri Lanka. Then there is Mahesh Chaudhary, etc. So they have invested very good Indian pool of youngsters as well. Moving forward, and I was slightly disappointed they let go Faf, but it was the auction dynamics happens. These sometimes that happens, like Faf letting go, then there are few Thakur, etc. letting go from the team, but that happens especially. They paid more than everyone expected for Deepak Chahar, and a recent performance from Deepak Chahar tempted every team to go after him as well. With his batting heroics for Team India, he has been taking wickets with the new ball as well. So that was I still think it was overpriced, but sometimes that happens in the auction. Every team has that kind of moments. If you look at for Prasidh Krishna, or then there is Triwati is there, then Hasaranga is there. So there are few buys which went very unexpected way. And coming to the playing 11, many of them are saying Devon Conway should be opening, but I don't see that happening. We might see because CSK used to prefer an overseas opener, like Mike Hussey was there, Matthew Hayden was there, Brendan McCallum was there, then Shane Watson was there, then Faf was there. So CSK had that history, but still, I would be starting with Robin Uthappa and Ruturaj Gaikwad. Then number three, everyone knows that it will be Moeen Ali. Number four, I will be preferring Shivam Dube, especially the way he plays spin. And Dhoni has that impact. After that knock against CSK in UAE last season, he played. He scored around 60 or 70 something, and while chasing 200 something. So that might have impacted, and that is the reason why CSK went for Deepak Hooda. Deepak Hooda played a very good knock against CSK last year. Shivam Dube played very good knock against CSK last year. So that is the reason I feel that connection as well. Who performed against CSK has that who made that I open against Dhoni, who got that purchase or who got that bidding war for them. So Shivam Dube will be batting at number four. Then number five will be Ambatti Raidu. Then number six, Dhoni. Number seven will be Jadeja. Number eight will be Deepak Chahar. Number nine will be Bravo. And number 10 will be Mahesh Tikshana. And number 11 will be this Adam Milani. So we need an express pace, especially we have this Mahesh Tikshana, who can bowl in power play. He has been doing so well for Sri Lanka. And Deepak Chahar is there for power play overs. Then for death overs, there will be in middle overs there will be Adam Milleni will be there, Moeen Ali will be there, Jadeja will be there, and death overs it will be Bravo and Adam Milleni. So that will be the ideal combination. But I don't think that might happen because they might start with Devon Conway. As I said earlier, they used to have that overseas history in opening department. And I really hope Rajwardhan Hangarekar gets few games. Maybe it's not starting in the season, but moving forward, he can provide that batting depth as well. And if Adam Milleni is not performing very well in the starting of the season, they can try out Rajwardhan, who can bowl that express pace. And he has been bowling with the new ball as well for India under 19 team in the World Cup. Then in the domestic for Maharashtra as well in Vinu Mangal Trophy, etc. So he has that ability to bowl with the new ball. So if Adam Milleni is not performing, they can try out Rajwardhan and include some overseas batter or some overseas all round in the mix as well, because they have got Pretorius is there, so they have got options. They have done so well in the second day. They have purchased very good buys. They have good Indian depth as well. But overall, I would have liked Bairstow or Rabada to be in the team, but it was really tough. They went really huge money, especially Rabada 9 crores. So it was really tough. But I would have preferred Bairstow or Rabada, either one of them that side. That would have made the side more stronger.
Well said there, Jones. Vinayakk sir, I'll come to you. Your take on the CSK side, and what do you think they got right and what they got wrong, and your playing 11 combination for them?
You put me in a tough spot. I cannot possibly follow up John's take on CSK. I mean, he's the know-all of CSK. I don't think I can add anything to what he has already observed and made his comments. I mean, very interesting comments though. Like, I'll just say that instead of giving my take on the 11, I'm really surprised that he thinks Conway is not in the 11, because I thought, like most people did, that he is a straight swap for Faf, so to speak, and probably a longer term option than Faf. I mean, I think he's going to open because they like that overseas opener for a while.
Yes.
So that is one thing where probably be different than John's. I also think they're going to try Shivam Dubey at 5 instead of 4, and Ambati Raidu at 4 is what I had in my 11. So I'll just read out my 11. Gaikwad and Conway opening, Moeen Ali at 3, Raidu at 4, Dubey with his power hitting and left-handed option to break up Ambati and Dhoni in the middle. So Dhoni at 6, Jadeja at 7, and that will change again. I think Jadeja will come in earlier than Dhoni in some instances. I had Chris Jordan in the 11 because they paid decent money for him, and he offers that death option, overseas option that Dhoni seems to like. And Deepak Chahar, Adam Milne, and Hangarekar in the 11. Hangarekar can bat anywhere, but I think given what we saw last year with CSK preferring a batting depth, pretty much 10 people who can bat, I think that will be the same way to go again, and I don't think they'll change that aspect, and I think Hangarekar at 10 gives them a brilliant depth.
Absolutely, because even in the post-auction press conferences, both Sundar Raman and Kasi Viswanath both were saying that they're looking at Devon Conway as their next Michael Hussey. They view him in the similar mold of that as a Mike Hussey. So I think it's a fair idea that they could be opening with a Devon Conway at the top, and it'll give them that right-left combination. You got Surya, who's put his playing 11 combination up of Ruturaj, Conway, Uthappa, Moeen, Raidu, Jadeja, MSD, Chahar, Bravo. He's gone for Simarjeet. He's gone for one of Simarjeet Singh or Rajwardhan Hangarekar and Adam Milne. And for those who do follow the domestic circuit, Simarjeet Singh from Delhi is one of the most promising pacers coming out there, and he even traveled to Sri Lanka with the Indian team last year. So very interesting takes we've got on CSK. We will move to one of the more recently consistent sides of the IPL in Delhi Capitals. And Shubh, I'll come to you for that. Your take on the Delhi Capitals auction and their playing 11. What do you think?
Well, Delhi Capitals. So I see Delhi Capitals as one of the five sides who did well at the auction, considering considering the dynamics of the auction. So
Yes.
going in, I knew that the four sides that had gone in with with that 47-48 crore purse, they will not be able to follow the same game plan that had brought them so much success in the last 2 3 seasons. So I knew that Delhi will have to make a lot of compromises. My idea for Delhi was what I wanted them to do was to invest as little as possible for their number two and number three batters and invest heavily for the pacers. But once they got Mitchell Marsh and David Warner for like 6.25 and 6.5, whatever it was, I knew that we are going to compromise in our bowling actually a lot, and I wanted them to get Avesh Khan, but once 13 crores were spent on our number two and number three batter, so I know that that is not going to happen there. So I think Delhi, since they were not going to get uh, since they were not going to get that same bite in their bowling lineup, I think they did well to create a lot of options for themselves. And what they did is that each of their options actually has a lot of potential in them. For example, Kamlesh Nagarkoti comes in with a lot of promise. Khalil Ahmed can take wickets up front. Chetan Sakaria can bowl at the death. So I think we actually did very well in creating options for ourselves. And who will actually get into the 11 for us? We will decide that once we take the field. So for Delhi, I think they have built their team around six people. The four people they retained Shaw, Pant, Nokia, Akshar, Mitchell Marsh, and David Warner, and then the other 4 5 slots we will fill as we proceed in the league.
Interesting take. I'll come to you, Sidheswar. Your take on the Delhi Capitals is review of the Delhi Capitals in the auction, and what sort of a squad they've built up, and what would be your preferred playing 11 for them?
Yeah, so to be honest, Delhi, I felt were very good on the first day. I feel they were one of the better
Yes.
placed teams after the first day. But I kind of think that after the second day had ended, I was kind of looking forward to who are their fast bowlers and who plays around the lower middle order and the paces and all. So I think I'll just go through who are their logged overseas players. So David Warner is the logged, I feel, is a lock,
Mhm.
and Nokia is a lock, and I think Mitchell Mars, seeing the current form, is a lock. So the fourth player, I think that has to be a Robman Powell or Mustafizur. Let's say we have seen that Delhi was also one of the teams that went for a two pacers attack. So
Yes.
obviously, I think Rabada and Mustafizur are completely different bowlers. But I have to see that if they are going to stick with Mustafizur. I personally don't think that is going to happen because I think they have got many Indian pacers with Khalil, they have got Sakaria, they have got Nagarkoti there. So I think obviously three of them can't be benched. Someone, I think one or two of them has to play. So I'll just start with my preferred 11 that I had in my mind. So Prithvi Shaw, David Warner. First down, Mitchell Mars. Second down, Rishabh Pant. Third down, I had two players in my mind, one being Sarfaraz and another being a Mandeep Singh. Because I feel Delhi will obviously might tinker around both of them, looking at the form or looking at the nets, who is better. I kind of had Robman Powell as my number six.
Yes.
Then I had Lalit Yadav because I think he has played for Delhi. I think he continuously played for Delhi when the matches were being held in Sharjah last year. So we know that he was kind of the partner to Akshar Patel and Ravichandran Ashwin there. Like they were playing three spinners. And then after Lalit, sit down, I have Shardul Thakur. Then I have Akshar Patel. Then I have one of Khalil or Sakaria. I think that depends on who they want to play. And obviously rounding off it, Henrik Nokia. So that will be my playing 11. And yeah, I missed another name when I was talking about the number five. Sarfaraz,
Mhm.
it can be Sarfaraz, it can be Mandip, and it can be KS Bharat too. So maybe they can change the order with KS Bharat maybe coming at three and maybe Pant coming down and all. So they can tinker around that. But I think once they start with a mind, I think they will continue playing that. And I don't see Lungi Ngidi and Team Cyber breaking into the first team any soon. I think that other players are much more elite than these players. So yeah, I think
Absolutely.
that will be my review of Delhi Capitals.
Very interesting take. Surya has popped in with a comment saying that Delhi's bowling is a clear downgrade on last year, and I think everybody does agree that
But
they have.
I'll just say that it was going to happen. Delhi had no other option. It was going to happen. They tried for every fast bowler that came in the auction. They opened the bid for Lockey. They went for Mark Wood, etc., etc., etc. But once they went above five, they had to let them go. So I don't think Delhi had an option.
That's a fair comment, Shubh. We've got a very humorous quip for Sir from Sir Benjamin Stokes saying that Kiran Gandhi is the new Preeti Zinta. I think
That is
unfortunately,
embarrassing as a Delhi Capital fan, but I understand where. I mean, I understand Kiran Gandhi's position. I mean, he was trying to buy back everyone. So if I
everybody.
was, yeah, so if I was at his place, I would have done the same. Actually, he had no other option.
And Surya Sesha saying that Sarfraz and Mandeep are the new Uthappa and Pandey. They just keep moving together. They kind of keep moving together to a team. And yes, again, I think because Uthappa Pandey have had the history of moving from RCB to Pune and then to KKR before diverging again. So we come to one of the new teams that came into the to the IPL this year, the Gujarat Titans. And Sanchit, I'll come to you. What do you make of the auction that the Gujarat Titans had?
To
In
be
your
very honest, Abhinav, yeah, to be
yeah,
very honest, I was really surprised with the auction strategy. Like at one point, I remember I was worried who is going to be the probable wicket keeper because they didn't have a potentially good wicket keeper in the squad, and they were bidding for David Miller along with us. So I was really worried about them. But then, few minutes later, they swooped up someone like a Matthew Wade and Vridhaman Saha back to back. So it was really strange of how they went by things. And to be very honest, it is very difficult to predict what their predicted 11 would be because there are so many options. But one good buy that I would say from them would be Jason Roy because I thought that he would be going for a good price given his recent success in the PSL format. But getting him for just 2 crores, I think, was probably a good steal. The best part about Gujarat Titans has to be about their bowling core because when the retention news came out, we obviously praised it because they got the hold of someone like Rashid Khan for that matter, and they actually managed to strengthen it by getting Lockie Ferguson, who I think was one of the hot picks, and they got an experienced pacer in Mohammad Shami. So it's a really good bowling core, but I really worry about that batting order. I mean, obviously, lots of names who might not be fixed in the starting 11. I really like the inclusion of Vijay Shankar. I really underrate him.
yes.
To be very honest, I thought he's pretty much overhated in the T20 circuit. But if he's used properly, I think he would do really well in that side. So if I have to just take a guess at what their playing order would be, obviously Shubman Gill will open with Jason Roy for me. Saha, I'm not sure. I'll bat him at 3 because I remember he was batting in the top half for Sunrisers Hyderabad. So I'll just start with Saha at number 3. Abhinav Manohar is also there, but I don't know whether he'll be getting games from the start or not. Vijay Shankar is a good option at number 4. Did well for Sunrisers for a couple of times. So I will definitely have him at 4. Number 5 is pretty interesting, but I'll go with the experience of David Miller. I guess because they obviously had to pay a good price for him. So I'll go with David Miller. He recently scored a 50 in the South African T20 format. So hopefully he comes out well. I'm still split whether to go with Matthew Wade or David Miller at number 5, but I'll just back the experience here, at least for the starting matches. And then Hardik Pandya, obviously the captain. It will be very interesting to see whether he will be bowling consistently or not, because from India's point of view as well, we have to bear in mind that we really need Hardik Pandya, the all-rounder. So for Gujarat Titans' sake and also for India's sake in the future, we really need to see Hardik Pandya bowling consistently. And then obviously their most surprising pick, the costliest pick, Rahul Tewatia, has to be in that lower order. And Rashid Khan, Rahul Tewatia, two good players. I'm not sure I don't see Rahul Tewatia as a 4-over bowler, to be very honest. He's a good lower order batter. But as a 4-over bowler, I am not really that convinced because we saw it in Rajasthan Royals. He's not really the someone who's going to give you good 4 overs consistently. So I really worry about that. But apart from that, Shami, Lockie Ferguson, and depending on the conditions, maybe Sai Kishore can be given a go. or even the Pradeep Sangwan, who was one of the sensation in Gujarat Lions, if you remember back in those days. So depending on the conditions provided, I think either one of them would work. But as I said, it's really difficult to predict what their starting 11 will be at this point.
Uh, Interesting call there. Sidheswar, I'll come to you. Your take on the Gujarat Lions and what do you think their playing 11 could be, and whether Nehraji has done a good job as a head coach for the first time in the IPL.
Okay, I'll just quickly run through what 11 I had in my mind. So obviously the main question arises that who keeps for them? Are they banking on Ridhiman Shah or are they going for Matthew Wade out there? Because that will kind of will say that where um, uh, Matthew Wade or Ridhiman Shah bat.
Exactly.
Matthew Wade, we have seen in BBL, he has been opening and he has fired up there. We know about the innings that he played against Pakistan that came at like I think at number 6 or 5. But really being honest, I think if he is playing, he needs to open. But
True.
I have to see if Gujarat go for that. So I had in my mind, obviously, I think Jason Roy, Suman Gill starting, and then the first down being Vijay Shankar, and then coming down Abhiram Manohar, Hardik Pandya, and after that, above Hardik Pandya, I had David Miller. I think like him. But if they want to play Matthew Wade, they can play. And Hardik Pandya, Rahul Tewatia, Rashid Khan, Loki, and Mohammad Sami. There was the one player that I left. I feel it will be a toss up between Yash Dayal and Darshan Nalkande. I think that will be one of the fast bowlers that they look for. I think, and again, depending upon the conditions, I think they can go for R. Shai Kishore. And apart from that, Dominic Drake, Noor Ahmad, I feel might not break into the 11 like on the get go. I think they will take some time to enter that 11. But if I had to say one more line, if I can add for Gujarat Titans,
Sure.
I personally feel that this is one of the more underwhelming teams in this IPL. I feel the batting is very untested. I know that Vijay Shankar is like hasn't set the IPL on fire in the last 2 seasons. And regarding Abhinav Manohar too, I know he has played great innings for Karnataka in semis and finals, but I have to see how he performs in the IPL. And obviously, as pointed out, Rahul Tewatia being a 9 crore buy didn't make any sense. So yeah, that will be all from my Gujarat Titans side.
I would just
So
like to add one point actually. How about Wade and Jason Roy opening together, Shubman Gill at one down, and then David Miller goes out and Manohar comes into the come into the 11 at number 4 or 5. I mean, what do you guys feel about that? Because
that
Wade
does.
and
Yeah.
Roy together, I mean, that seals uh, a a solid opening combo, left-right opening combo, as well as a wicket keeper for them in the side.
True. True. We've Surya has said that they should Gujarat should play Sai Kishore the moment they feel that Tewatia as a batsman is not working out, because Sai Kishore can bat pretty decently, and his 4 overs will you can bank the 4 overs out with a Sai Kishore. So very interesting comment there. And Subodh Chavan has come in saying that Sheldon Cottrell made Rahul Tewatia's career, but it happened 1 year back, which is 2000. In 2020 it is, and why are the teams still thinking of that? Sanchit, I'll come to you for this one.
Well, to be honest, it's a very strange one, because obviously Tewatia is known for that innings that he played in Sharjah 2 years ago. But even after that, I think Tewatia did play some of the cameos. But I really don't agree that he is someone like a 9 crore buy in this auction. And even after that, Rajasthan Royals also played him at that particular role, even batted him higher up the order to test out, and he did deliver. But I really don't see him as a proper all-rounder the teams are looking for, because he's not giving you consistent 4 overs, as I said. So I'm really not sure with this this team Gujarat Titans have had. I just believe that they are compromising a little bit on the spin bowling and overly dependent on someone like a Rashid Khan to bail them out at all times. So I really agree with what comment sections are saying, especially Surya is saying that play Sai Kishore soon as Tewatia doesn't show promise with the bat, because they really need someone to complement Rashid Khan consistently. Otherwise, it is too risky to just depend completely on him, because that is really not ideal. So I'm really worried about the spin bowling option, but I hope that they really figure out a proper starting 11 soon.
Fair call. We move on to the two-time champions and the runners-up for last year, Kolkata Knight Riders. And Vinayak, I'll come to you. What do you make of the KKR 11, KKR auction strategy over the 2 days, and what would be your play analysis of this side and the playing 11 that you have in mind?
That I was actually very surprised with the stuff that KKR were pulling. I genuinely don't understand how at the end of a 2-day mega auction, they end up with Ajinkya Rahane as probably part of their best 11 on paper. I mean, that cannot be part of any plan. I mean, he's a good option to have. He's done good stuff in the past. I mean, he plays a role, but when the teams are resetting and it's 2022 and we are looking forward to T20 cricket being played the T20 way, and that didn't make sense to me. In the squad probably, but I mean the different combinations I'm seeing, it seems like they have, because if they play Sam Billings as a keeper, they don't. I mean they have Baba and Sheldon as the two other wicket keeping options. But I mean, I don't know if they've gotten Sam Billings, they have to play Sam Billings. And the other three, if everyone is available, Russell, Narayan, and Cummins are going to be the other three overseas picks. So as good as a buy Alex Hales is for 1.5 crores, I don't know if they play Alex Hales over Sam Billings and have one of the non-regular keepers keep it. Either way, so the first 11 doesn't seem like it's been constructed with any great planning. That was my biggest takeaway with KKR, and any which way I put it, there is a big hole. I mean, whether they play Ajinkya Rahane or not, or whether they play Alex Hales or not, they have to compromise on some of the other positions, and it just doesn't feel like great planning to me. It was nice to see them going back for their old some of the guys they have stuck with, like Shivam Mavi. It was nice to see them back Shivam Mavi again because of all that he's gone through, and KKR have that family sort of approach to the franchise league that I appreciate that, and it was nice to see. Whether he's worth it or not is a different topic altogether. But it was nice to see them go back for some of their older players. So just my 11, I don't know if there is a best 11 for them, honestly, because every 11 seems to have some sort of an issue. I'm just going with Rahane and Iyer, and hope Iyer just goes ballistic at the top. McCullum gives him the freedom to just go crazy at the top and let Rahane sort of be the anchor. Nitish Rana at 3, Shreyas Iyer at 4. Sam Billings at 5, Russell, Narayan, Cummins to follow. Shivam Mavi, Varun Chakravarti. I have Umesh Yadav in the 10, but that could be anyone based on form. I mean, they want another spinner. If they want maybe Rasik Dar there, that can go either way. So that seems to be what it doesn't feel like a very overwhelmingly great squad at this point of time, though they have some match winners in there.
Very interesting call there, Vinayak. I'll come to you, Shubh. What do you make of this KKR side? I mean, quite a few holes. They look like a confused lot.
So I feel there are two teams who are in complete shambles after this auction. One is RR, the second is KKR. And KKR, because you cannot go into the auction with a purse of 48 crores and then spend 15 crores between Nitish Rana and Shivam Mavi. I know you have that emotional connection and stuff, but I mean, Shivam Mavi is not worth 7.75 crores right now. Nitish Rana is not worth 8 crores. What it did was that they have to stay content with Ajinkya Rahane as their opener, and they don't have any kind of proven death bowling as well. I don't see Pat Cummins as an impressive death bowler as yet. So my 11 for KKR, and I think that is the only best 11 that they can put on paper right now, and that is Venkatesh Iyer, Ajinkya Rahane, Shreyas Iyer at 3, Nitish Rana at 4, number 5 Sam Billings, then followed by Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan, Pat Cummins, and then Mavi Umesh Yadav and Varun Chakravarti. So now their only option is to play Alex Hales somehow, but to get Alex Hales in, you have to put out Sam Billings, and to get a wicket keeper in. If that happens, if they open with Alex Hales, then what I will do is I would put Pat Cummins at number 4 straight away, because I think he was one of their better batsmen in 2020 and 2021 as well. So why not try him? Why not get more out of his batting if you want Alex Hales to open? There is no death bowling. Their spin attack is okay, but you don't know when Varun Chakravarti's knees will fall down, and and about Sunil Narayan's form with all the with all the question marks around his bowling action. So they had a lot of loopholes to cover, and they actually shot themselves in the feet with the signing of Nitish Rana at 8 and Shivam Avi at 7.75.
Very, very interesting comments there. Surya has been quite active today, and he said, wouldn't KKR be better off with having somebody like a Rinku Singh in the middle order than having, say, a Rahane at the top? He said that Rahane can be looked as a pace enforcer, but surely that's a big gamble. Vinayak, what do you think?
I genuinely don't know. I mean, they could do 10 different things with their squad, and it all feels like there is a hole in there. I mean, it's a good suggestion. I mean, Rinku, they've backed Rinku for a while. Rinku is another emotional buy, so to speak, but they've backed him for a while, and he's been with them for a long time. So if they want to give him a go, and maybe have Nitish Rana and Venkatesh Iyer opening for a left combination, yeah, I mean, why not? Or they can always go back to Sunil Narayan at the top of the order as well. So they have options, but none of them seem great at the moment. So yeah, I mean, why not?
And Surya has said what like everybody would say about KKR now. KKR post Gautam Gambhir have been a very confused lot at the auction, which is quite right. And he said that the evidence of that was that the way they were going helter skelter for Nicholas Puran and just about got away with it, despite not having enough purse to at that stage to even complete a team. So yeah, I mean, very very well said there, Surya and Vinayak. You've made a very good point there. We come to the other new franchise of this joining in 2022, the Lucknow Super Giants. Very unimpressive name, but what do you make of this their start, Johns? What do you make of this auction, the auction that they've had, and what sort of a playing 11 they could be constructing? Because I mean, they are the only team that has completely exhausted out their purse.
I think they are like, we can call something like Lucknow all-round giant something. They have invested lots of all-rounders. There is Marcus Stoinis is there, Jason Holder is there, then Kurnal Pandey is there. The Deepak Hooda is there, so they are all-round package team. I never expected any team to get everyone together. Even I never expected them to go after Jason Holder as well, because they had Marcus Stoinis there. He'd be batting at number 6, and they tried out too many all-rounders. I don't know what is the reason behind that, and I still believe they are one batsman short as well. If you look at, they missed out that trick. They had Manish Pandey at number 3, and number 4 should be Deepak Hooda. But ideally, I would have preferred Deepak Hooda at number 5 and play and invested one of the batters, anyone from overseas or from India as well. That would have been better when moving forward. But right now, I still feel they are batter short, because they need to play Kurnal Pandey or Jason Holder, someone that kind of player at number 6 or number 7, etc. Ideally, they should be at number 8 in a batting unit. So they are filled with all rounders. And coming to if they are playing the natural game, if KL Rahul can do what he did in 2018, I would say their opening combination will be one to watch out. especially in Wankhede. The IPL will be happening in Mumbai, so the D Cock and KL Rahul opening together, it will be one of the exciting opening combination in the IPL as well. If KL can play what he did in 2018. And coming to bowling, I would say they have got very good bowlers. Mark Wood is there as an enforcer. Then Ravi Bishnoi is there. They have invested on Avesh Khan, so they have got a pretty decent bowling unit. While compared to Gujarat Lions had a very good core moving into the auction, but they missed out lots of tricks, as everyone mentioned before a few minutes ago. But coming to Lucknow, I don't feel they had a great core. They have Marcus Stoinis. He's not that a great T20 player like Andhra Russell or any other all-rounders in the history of T20 game, maybe Shane Watson, etc. We can't compare Stoinis as that great in T20 format. And they had Ravi Bishnoi, but he's inexperienced. So they didn't had a great core coming to the auction compared to Gujarat Lions. Gujarat Lions had greatest T20 bowler, then India's best all-rounder, then India's upcoming star as well. But Lucknow didn't had that kind of setup. But they did. They overcome lots of issues. But still, I feel they have one batter short. And coming to the playing 11, opening will be Deepak and KL Rahul. Number 3 will be Manish Pandey. Number 4 will be Deepak Huda. Then number 5, I believe they need a left-hander. So number 5 will be Kurnal Pandya. Number 6 will be Jason Holder or Marcus Stoinis. Someone, it depends on the situation, etc. So Marcus Stoinis, then Jason Holder, then 4 slot left. One will be Mark Wood. Another will be Avesh Khan, then another will be Ravi Bishnoi, and they need someone from Indian pool, maybe Krishnappa Gautam, because they have a leg spinner or like Ravi Bishnoi, so they can invest someone like Gautam or another Indian pacer or some depend on the opposition and where they are playing, etc. So this will be their combination, but still I feel they are a batter short. They should have preferred someone from overseas of India or India to play at number 4. That would have made this combination look more better. But I would say they have done pretty decent job, more than I expected, because they didn't have that core coming to the auction compared to any other franchisee. They have overcome many issues, but still they have one batter short, I believe.
Interesting combination you've put out there, John. Sidheswar, I'll come to you. What do you make of this Lucknow Super Giants side, and what could be your possible playing 11 for them?
I think I'll completely again reiterate what John said. I think we can't actually make many combinations from this team. I think this team has got the lowest amount of players, 21. But I think the reserves, what they have, I don't see them like Kyle Mayers. I don't see him playing in the opening 11. I think Markwood and Chamira can't play together. Only one of them has to play. And I had an interesting option in mind. I think KL Rahul can keep anyways. So maybe they can go with KL Rahul and Evan Lewis opening. But I think for the figure that they have paid for Deacock, I think they will start with Deacock for sure. And then obviously, I think Manish Pandey, Deepak Huda, Stoinis, then Krunal Pandya, Holder, Gautam, Avesh, Wood, and Bishnoi. I think they kind of had a clear mind going to the auction, what their playing 11 they want it to be. I think their playing 11 is fairly simple. I don't see anyone else knocking in the door of anyone else. I do maybe Sabaj Nadeem in place of Gautam, maybe where they feel that other team has more right-handers. And Manan Vora may be one of the backups for KL Rahul when he gets injured or something. But rather than that, I don't see anyone else knocking at the door in this team. So fairly, I think their 11 is fairly, okay, this is going to be their playing 11 and they are not going to tinker with that much. So that will be
Just-
all from
Just
my
one
side.
thing, if I can add,
Yes, please.
just about the option that he just said. Gambhir had an interview on Star where he said he made it clear pretty much that they don't want KL Rahul to keep. They want KL Rahul to be free of keeping duties, and Quinton de Kock is their wicketkeeper because they think KL Rahul will be freer in terms of captaincy decisions. I found that very interesting that Gambhir pretty much confirmed that in interview on Star. So just thought I'd put it in.
That's a
Okay. Thank you. I
interesting.
hadn't seen that.
A very good observation there, Vinayak. And we've got a comment from Subodh Chavan. For you, anyone can take it. Is Manish Pandey a good T20 middle order batsman? And because of the issue which he has with his strike rate and the fact that he's not what they call an intent player in. So, what do you think, Vinayak? I'll take you on this. Take your views on this one.
Yeah, Abhinav, you're coming to me with questions about Rahane, Manish Pandey. What is it? You're putting me in the spot. I don't know. I mean, he's a good player to have in the squad. I can't imagine him being a number 4 for a franchise. I mean, especially after what we saw last year with SRH, it is not a question of intent. I don't genuinely think that he wants to bat that slowly. That's his game. It feels to me like that's his game. And even if he tries, to go all guns blazing, at this point in his career, I'm not sure. Maybe he has like a big resurgence or something and finds a way to prove SRH wrong and whatever. If that happens, then great for Lucknow. But I don't think so.
Surya has made a very interesting comment. For a debut auction, Lucknow were mighty impressive and showed a lot of clarity. I think it boils down to the people who are there at the decision-making table. With I think some very good minds are there. Gautam Gambhir, Andy Flower, Vijay Dahiya, very good cricketing brains were there, and they were able to make some good, smart decisions. Vinayakk, I'll now come to you. The 5-time champions Mumbai Indians. What do you make of their auction, and what do you think could be the possible playing 11 that they had? Because very strange start. Day one, I think they had dedicated that they wanted to get Ishan Kishan back. Somehow, somewhere they managed to do that. And day two, they were frustrating before they had a bang. They ended with a bang. Vinayakk, what do you think? What do you think of this Mumbai Indians squad and the possible playing 11 that they can go for?
Right. So one of the first things that I wanted to mention about Mumbai Indians was what Akash Ambani said after the auction in the press conference was it was not some great masterstroke to save up for Jofra Archer. They went for all their paces on day one, especially. They discussed Jofra Archer in the pre-auction. I mean, everyone will discuss Jofra Archer if he's part of the auction. It's not that is no rocket science. But they discussed, but it was not like, okay, we are going to save and this is what we are going to do on day two late when no one is expecting us. I think it kind of happened that way because they were priced out of all of their pace bowling options, and they took stock at the end of day one, and they were like, okay, if you are going to be paying 8-9 crores for any pacer, why not just pay that for Jofra Archer and see how it goes? So I don't think it was any like grand plan masterstroke that came out. It was just how the situation worked out. But I think I mean, who else would? I think even other franchise fans would want to watch Jofra Archer and Jasprit Bumrah bowl in tandem at some level, like a self-paying sort of thing. Even if you're supporting the other team, you would want to watch that. So I think if they somehow manage to get both of them on the park together next year, it's very exciting. I think in terms of what they did with Jofra Archer, having done that, getting Timal Mills this time was huge. Having paid 8 crores for Jofra Archer, getting Timal Mills for the amount that they paid at the end is massive because it takes care of the short term. And it was interesting that Akash Ambani at the end said that, speaking about all this, he said it helps us stay competitive for this season, which was not even the question, but he felt that he had to say that, which means that he was aware that there was a chance they were going to be not competitive this season. There was a chance that, they have to be, they have to forego a season to be good for the next few years. But he mentioned that, getting Timal Mills and Tim David at the end makes them competitive for this season. I think that was reading between the lines, that was a very interesting thing that he said. So having said that, the 11, I think it's fairly straightforward, except for a couple of points that we can discuss. I think Rohit Sharma and Ishan Kishan will open, having spent so much for Ishan, and since Rohit sees Ishan as an opening option for India, I don't think it being any different for Mumbai. Surya at 3. I have Deval Brevis at 4. I think they're going to trust him and throw him into the deep end because of how he played in the Under-19 World Cup. It doesn't feel to me like he needs any time to adapt to the highly competitive nature of IPL. It feels like he's ready, but that is something that they'll take a call closer to the tournament. I have Devolved Brevis at 4, Pollard at 5, Tim David at 6. Though if those 4, 5, and 6 get going, I genuinely feel they'll be really good. I think their bowling is the weakest link. It's not new that they've not really gone spin heavy. It's somehow that it's been a problem for them for a while. I mean, they don't really have that standout great spinner. It seemed like they wanted Yuzi but didn't get Yuzi. Ashwin is a good option. M. Ashwin is a good option, and he will play. I have Sanjay Yadav in there just for what he offers lower down the order.
Yes.
And Vinayakk is a left-arm pacer that they would want. I mean, they like their left-arm pacers, and Vinayakk is an Indian option. I have a feeling that this is going to be a big season for Vinayakk, given everything that he's gone through in terms of the auction, his journey, up and down journey. But now he's finally at a franchise where they'll have clear roles for him, and he's a great. I mean, on his day, he's a really good bowler. I really want him to do well, so I see him in the 11, and Bumrah and Mills to complete the squad.
Johns, because there are quite a few people who are asking you about Mumbai Indians, so I'll come to you with your review of the Mumbai Indians squad and the playing 11 that they've got, because there are a few questions that are coming in for you as well on Mumbai. So what are your take? And I'll throw in the questions right in the middle of it.
I think they won't be starting their South Africa under any hero. Even though Mumbai Indians had that knack of surprises, like if you remember, they invested on Jammu Kashmir fast bowler. Then last time they played Marco Janison from Norway in the first match. So they have these kind of doing some unreal stuff, playing them in the first match of the season. But still, I believe they might trust an all-rounder because they have picked Daniel Sams is there. Then Fabian Alin is there from West Indies. So I believe they'll be trusting someone from that pool and play at number 7 because if you look at, they have invested Tilak Verma a lot.
Yes.
So I believe Tilak Verma will be starting the season. So Rohit, Ishan, number 3 will be Tilak Verma or Suryakumar Yadav. It depends on who gets out. If Ishan is getting out, Tilak will be coming in. If Rohit is getting out, Surya will be coming in. So that will be the flexible way. I believe that number 5 will be Kiran Pollard. Number 6 will be Tim David. Number 7, depending on the opposition and how Sanjay Yadav is doing, because he has been really impressive in TNPL, etc. He has been doing so well. So number 7 is a open spot, either Daniel Sams or Fabian Elliott, depending on how Sanjay Yadav performs or how Sanjay Yadav do well in nets, etc. Then Taima Mills will be starting. Then Bumrah will be starting. Then Murugan Ashwin, I believe he'll be having a very good season, mainly because he has been a bit underrated. He did even really well for Punjab as well, occasionally whenever he got opportunity. And for Tamil Nadu, he has been doing so well. So I believe this will be the playing 11. I don't see an Indian pacer starting right now, depending on the combination. Maybe they might start with, but I still believe this might be the ideal 11. But Mumbai used to do this funky stuff, like playing some other unknown players in the starting. In the first 2 matches, they might try out these players, then go into that very good combination. That is how they used to do in last couple of years. So it's really tough to predict how they are going to shape up in the first 2 matches.
Absolutely, because there you talked about trying out funky players in the opening few games, and there is a comment from Ishu Sheikh saying that talk about Arshad Khan, the Madhya Pradesh pacer whom they've picked up, and there is a lot of buzz going about him that he is a left-arm pacer who can hit a long ball at the end. So yeah, I mean, it's eminently possible that they might just actually throw in Arshad Khan right at the on debut on the first game of the season. Subodh, there is a question from Subodh for Johns. Is have Mumbai Indians picked Jofra not just for 3 seasons, and is it a long term? Is it a very long term plan that they have that they wanted? They are looking at Jofra as a very very long term, maybe a 6-7 year plan that they have with Jofra.
I think if Jofra is fit, he'll be the lifetime member of Mumbai Indians. I don't have any doubt in that. If Jofra is fit, like they have very core, like Ishan Kishan is a future investment for next 10 years. Bumrah will be a future investment for next 7-8 years. Similar to that Jofra. So they have three very good stars for next 5-10 years. And if mega auction is going to stop, Mumbai Indians will be one of the dominant teams in future. Maybe they might not win in first two seasons, so till 2024, etc. But they can win a trot, like winning continuous championship from 2025 or 2026, etc. So it all depends on how the fitness of Jofra Archer, because the bigger issue is that once James Anderson, then Stuart Broad retires, then Archer will be their spearhead. He should be, if he's fit, he should be playing all formats. And we all know how talented is that. And England used to play 10 test matches or 15 test matches in a year, and Jofra will be playing at least 7 to 8 test matches. So how his fitness going to improve if he is having that turnaround like Pat Cummins? Pat Cummins was really injury prone in first 3-4 years, and he turned around everything from 2017. And he is one
Yes.
of the fittest bowlers in world cricket. So if Jofra can turn around like that, then it will be really great for Mumbai Indians. Whatever gamble they took in 2021, it might pay out in 2024 or 2025, and Jofra plus Bumrah will be one of the exciting combos. They have Malinga plus Bumrah, but Malinga was going to that near end, and Bumrah was playing in first few seasons. But if
Yes.
Jofra and Bumrah is fit together, both of them at prime stage, that will be really exciting to watch, but not for the opposition.
I just
Well
have
said
a
there.
couple of things to
Yeah,
add.
please,
I
please.
mean, yeah. So I think Fabian Allen becomes an important player for them at number 7 instead of Brevis at 4. I would have Fabian at 7. It does two things. It gives them a restrictive spinners option. Also, it
Mhm.
increases their batting depth. I think they are suffering there right now. If so, Fabian Allen at 7, Murugan Ashwin and at 8, then the three pace bowlers for them. So that is where I feel Fabian Allen becomes important for them. Other thing is I want to ask from you, Abhinav, since you are since you are a MI fan, what do you feel about this punt on Jofra Archer? Because they want to pair Archer and Bumrah together, but knowing the red flags that are attached with Archer's availability, that might never happen, and you have shared 8 crores for him.
It is a gamble, but I think if you've got to as that classic line in a scam 1992 goes, risk hai to ishq hai. So I think it's that is that's
And
perfectly all right.
I think only Mumbai can pull off a stunt like this. I mean, 5 trophies. I mean, do whatever you want. Fans are already happy.
True, absolutely. So next up, we head towards Punjab Kings, probably the surprise package of of this auction, and I'll come to you for this, Shubh. What do you make of Punjab? Suddenly, I mean, where has this Punjab Kings turned up?
I don't know. I was really surprised. So I was framing the first choice 11 for every team as the auction was going on, and once I saw you, I mean, at the halfway mark on day one, I realized that they are actually shaping up into an excellent team. I mean, you have so many intent merchants in that side. In the where it is, yeah, Livingstone, SRK, Odion Smith, Mayank and Dhawan at the top, Bairstow in between. But I think Bairstow is very crucial for them. I mean, because uh, their middle order is filled with, you know, that those see the ball, hit the ball kind of batter. So you need one player who can bind them together. So that is where Bairstow becomes very important. But then Bairstow is not available during the might not be available during the first couple of weeks. So that is where I feel it is a bit tricky. But even after their batting, if you see, they have picked a very good all-rounder in Rishi Dhawan, I feel, and then Rabada, Rahul Chahar. I mean, a lot of teams have suffered in the spin department. Punjab did not. They locked in a quality spinner. I feel Rahul Chahar is a quality spinner, and they locked him in quite early. Arshdeep was already there with them. So I think they have a lot of options, and they are shaping into a very good side. Another a solid middle order Indian batter could have helped them, could have made them look more a more dominating unit. But I think right now they shape up into a very good side. We might see a different Punjab Kings this time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Surya has said it's a Dan Weston masterclass from the Punjab Kings. But who will be their captain, though? Is it Mayank or is it Shikhar Dhawan? Shubh, I'll take your point on this.
A lot of experts. I mean, yesterday I was watching the Star Sports show. Both Akash Chopra and Sanjay Manjrekar said it should be Dhawan. I believe it should be Mayank because I think
True.
he has presented himself into a very level-headed guy. He has shown good head. He has shown really good intent as well with the bat. He's going to play all the games for you. He's good against spin, pace. He looks like a leader to me as well. And in Mayank, you are investing in a long term plan as well. So I would like if it is Mayank. And I have heard things about Dhawan. Something like he doesn't want to be captain.
True.
I don't know, is it a rumor or something, but I have heard that he was offered captaincy of some other franchisee before as well, and he said no to the offer, and he looks like a guy who just want to enjoy his game. At
True. True.
35, 36, you do want to enjoy your game more without any added baggage, and Dhawan is he's just that kind of a character as well. So I think Mayank
True.
will be a better choice for them.
Absolutely, and Pavit Singh has come in saying it with a very humorous quip. What no Preeti Zinta does to an auction, Punjab Kings is a very good example of that. But all jokes aside, but what Surya said is right. Dan Weston, who I think not a lot of people would know, is a very highly rated T20 recruitment specialist. Works with Leicestershire in the Vitality Blast and was with the Birmingham Phoenix in the 100, which explains why they went hard for Liam Livingston in the first place, because he was Birmingham's star attraction, and of course the first ever French-born player in the IPL in Benny Howell, the renowned T20 globetrotter, purveyor of and purveyor of slower deliveries. So it's a very good 11 that they side they've constructed. I think they easily come off with a 9 on 10 rating. I'll now come to you, Sanchit. It's your team, Rajasthan Royals. What do you think of their entire auction strategy, and what do you think could be a possible playing 11 for them?
Well, I'm flattered that you saved me for discussing about Rajasthan Royals. But keeping all the biasness aside, I think it was a little bit of a mixed emotions on day two, especially. I thought on day one, Rajasthan really did well in gathering the Indian core, because I think to get Ashwin for somewhat 5 crores and getting Yuzvendra Chahal at 6.25, I think has to be one of the greatest buys from
Easily.
Rajasthan Royals in recent years. And they really struggled with the spin department in the last few years. We saw Rajasthan Royals going for runs in the middle over space, could not control the games as often as they would have wanted. And we made the point earlier about Tewatia being not so dependent with the ball, and that really hurt us a lot in those days. But I think with the addition of Chahal and Ashwin, I think they really did well to improve that spin department. And when it comes to the overall squad complexion, I really like the look about it. But I was really surprised when we bid so high for someone like a Devdutt Padikkal, because I thought that maybe we could have actually gotten a better player for number 3. But I think the idea is to have him bat at number 3, just to have that left right combination in that top order. So I'm really not sure exactly how the entire 11 is going to be, but given the video that we saw from the owner suggesting that Devdutt will be batting at number 3 and Sanju at number 4, and mind you, Sanju at number 4 might also increase his chances of breaking through to the Indian team, because that number 4 position is still up for grabs for the Indian team as well. So let's see what happens about that. But given the day 2 performance, I was really not disappointed with the way how we actually went about things. Like not counting the last session entirely. I mean, we got some of the steal from the auction. I mean, getting RVD, Nathan Coulton-Isle, Daryl Mitchell, and James Neesham for base price, I think has to be some great buys. But I still felt that we could have bidded a lot for maybe quality Indian middle order batters. I wasn't really keen on getting Karun Nair for such a price. I thought maybe we could have had some better option as backups. So those were some of my thoughts. But I was really impressed with Simran Hetmyer purchase. Not so much with the price range, but I thought that we really needed someone like a Hetmyer in that middle order. So it would be really interesting how we fit him in, because Rassi is also there. He's a good player of spin. And if you look at that middle order, I think we still lack a quality quality all rounder in that level, in that 11, to be honest, because I don't see James Neesham as a good number 7. I thought maybe a better option would have been good, but I would definitely start someone like a Nathan Coulter-Nile at number 7 ahead of James Neesham, just because it gives you that added option. And Coulter-Nile and Bolt have enjoyed bowling together for Mumbai Indians. Abhinav, you might have known it the best.
Yes.
So yeah, so I think I would back that partnership for the starting few games, NCN and Bolt to start off. And about Prasidh Krishna, I thought we kind of overpaid for him a little bit. Yes, definitely a good bowler, but I think the 10 crore price tag has to be because of the recency bias case, and it tends to happen in the mega auction of quite often. And Rajasthan Royals is no stranger to such kind of decisions. But maybe I thought that we could have went for someone like a Karthik Tyagi, because we invested a lot on him for the last 2 years. I thought maybe getting him back, just like how KKR got back Shivam Mavi, they trusted him for that price and they really wanted him back. So I thought maybe Karthik Tyagi would have been a better option. But overall, it looks like a good side. I'm really worried just about the spin bowling yet again, because one injury to Ravi Ashwin and we are out of sorts altogether. So that is really a big worrying sign, because we don't have quality backups in that spin department. Yes, Karyappa is there, but we really need finger spinners in that lineup. So I would just rate it 6.5 or 7 out of 10, given the way how we went by things.
Absolutely. And
There's
so both
no death bowling as well. I was just saying that I don't
exactly
see any
they don't
death bowling in that side, and I see that only Obed McCoy is your death bowler, but he cannot get into the 11. So I mean that is where I feel that RR's balance is way off, and all rounder. I mean you have only 3 all rounder in the squad of 24, so all the best.
Subodh has a question for you, Sanchit, that why have they picked Trent Bolt, and especially with the ball not really swinging a lot at the Savai Mansingh, he might really not be the most effective option out in Jaipur.
A very interesting take, but it all depends. Like I think the reason why we went for Trent Bolt has been because of the way how he was performing for Mumbai Indians recently, and there were lots of options available for that overseas fast bowler in for Rajasthan Royals, and definitely there were lots of names that were recommended to the management. We could have, I mean, if Rabada would have came earlier than Trent Bolt, I think we would have gotten him as well. So I think it was just a matter of who came first, and Bolt had to be there. So I think we just got one of the players that we ideally would have wanted, and it's a great point about the ball not swinging too much. And I really worry about Trent Bolt, the death bowler, because even in Mumbai Indians we haven't seen him bowling well at death. And it's a good point that you made earlier, that there are no death bowlers in this side, and Obed McCoy I think has the potential of bowling well at the death, but he's not going to be your starting bowler. So it would be really an interesting thing who balls at the death. So I think that is a little bit of a weakness that Rajasthan Royals might face in this edition of the IPL.
Absolutely. Pavit Singh has once again jumped in with a very he's not holding his punches back. He said one injury to Ravi Ashwin and RR have a shot at winning. I think he has a penchant for a few controversial takes. So on that note, we move to one of the other powerhouse glamour franchise, Royal Challengers Bangalore. And I come to you, Shubh, for this. What do you make of the auction that they had, and what would be your review for them and a possible playing 11 if you have in mind for them?
I have an 11 in mind for them, but overall, I mean, I made the 11. I felt that it was good, but I also felt that it was way off at some key points. I don't see Faf du Plessis as a good opening partner for Virat Kohli. I mean, as an opposition captain, I would put in a left arm spin straight away for them, and one of them will actually get out, I feel. So that is where I feel someone more attacking opening partner for Virat Kohli would have been a better option. They have Finn Allen, but I feel RCB was the perfect side who could have signed Paul Sterling kind of a batsman. I mean, he's good against spin, he's good against pace. I know they don't need his 2 overs of off spin because they already have Glenn Maxwell. But I mean, he would have been a perfect foil to open with Virat Kohli. And now the question is, if Faf has become the captain, then again they are RCB are shooting themselves in the foot, because then what it does is that it has locked their four overseas players right away without allowing them much flexibility, because Faf has to play, Maxwell will play, one of Hazelwood and Jason Behrendorff will play, Vanindu Hasranga will play. So if you want to try out some different combinations, you cannot. You don't have any proven left-hander in the side as yet. So I mean, it makes it very easy for the opposition to target you with leg spin or left arm orthodox spin. Uh, outside of that. Outside of that, they are a pretty okay side, because see, I'll open with Kohli and Faf, which ideally should not happen. But if you put any one of their someone else in the order, they will suffer as well. So just take a punt and put them as the opening pair. One down will be Anuj Rawat. Then I'll go with Glenn Maxwell. Then DK at 5, Shahbaz Ahmed at 6. Vanindu Hasranga has to be a number 7 batsman. Harshal Patel at 8. Followed by Josh Hazelwood and Mohammad Siraj. Number 11. Now my number 11 actually could either one of Karan Sharma or Siddharth Kaul, based on the condition that we have. So yeah, that would be my 11. And also, I think teams have really underutilized Harshal Patel's batting abilities. I think it is time. If I'm in the RCB camp, I may open with him alongside Kohli, or just put him at number 3, because he can be a really good hitter with the bat. And I think it is high time that teams use that ability of his.
Fair point. And Surya jumped in with the most obvious question: who captains RCB? Because Faf is not exactly a long-term guy. Maxwell is a risk, because you'd want to keep guys like him free of responsibility. Could it be somebody like a Dinesh Karthik then?
Well, if I have to answer, I will actually go with Glenn Maxwell. I think he was my preferred captaincy option for RCB. I know he's an overseas guy, but I think he has a pretty good head on his shoulders. And in the last 1.5 years, the way he has sorted his batting, I think he knows how he knows what kind of cricket he wants to play. Along with that, he has the captaincy experience with Melbourne Stars as well. So that is why I feel that Maxwell should be the captain, not DK right now. I think, first of all, new to the RCB setup. I know he has played for them before, but this is uh, a completely new team. He's not a long-term solution as well right now. And Faf du Plessis, I've already explained that if he becomes the captain, RCB won't have the flexibility to, if they want to if they want to use David Willey in the side, that cannot happen if Faf is your captain. So my choice would be Maxwell, but it can be anyone among these three names that he has suggested.
Fair call. And with that, we move to the last team. Last of the 10 teams. Sidheswar, I'll come to you. It's your favorite, erstwhile favorite, maybe Sunrisers Hyderabad. What do you make of their? What do you make of the auction that they had, and what do you think could be a possible playing 11 for them?
Yeah, thank you, Avina, for bringing out SRH. To be really honest, like many emotions ran when during last year, when all of those controversies were happening around David Warner, and yeah, so I was kind of thinking that they might retain Johnny Bairstow. I was surprised that they went for Johnny Bairstow till a price of 6.5 and then left him, and then took Nicholas Pooran for an price of 10.75. So basically what we have done is basically switched up from Johnny Bairstow to Nicholas Pooran, which I feel currently is a downgrade. So yeah, coming to SRH, overall, I have seen on Twitter that people have kind of made SRS that one of the worst teams of the auctions. Keeping my bias aside, I'll still not say they're one of the worst performing teams. I still think that they have got a playing 11 which will be challenging with what they will do. Coming to the opening, I'll straightly jump to my 11 right there. I feel there are a lot of. I was doing in the morning. I was seeing that there are a lot of options that SRH can open with. You have Rahul Tripathi who can open. You have Aiden Markram who can open. You also have Abhishek Sharma who opens for Punjab, and we already have seen that Washington Sundar has kind of opened for RCB for 1 or 2 matches. So my preferred 11 would be starting with Abhishek Sharma and Rahul Tripathi, then Kane Williamson coming at number 3, then having Nicholas Puran, and then having Aiden Markram. Markram can move to top, and maybe you can have Rahul Tripathi batting at 4, Puran moving to 5. I think these are interchangeable options. I sincerely hope that Brian Lara does work wonders with this team. In the dugout, I remember Brian Lara talking about Abhishek Sharma, the opener. So I remember that when Abhishek Sharma was opening I think he opened in the last 2 matches of the last season. Brian Lara was quick to jump out in the dugout and said that I have been saying that Abhishek Sharma should open. So I think Brian Lara is one guy who I think prefers Abhishek Sharma opening. I think that wasn't possible last year because of Jason Roy, Johnny Bairstow, David Warner opening. So I think that hopefully Abhishek Sharma opens. Then moving to Abdul Samad at number 6, Washington at number 7. I have Romario Shepherd at number 8, Bhubneshwar and Natarajan and Karthik Tyagi to round it off. So I kind of feel that one of the retentions, Umran Malik, might not even start for them. So that is what I felt because they grabbed Karthik Tyagi, which was, I think, a steal at 4 crores.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, the buy of Son Abbott didn't make any sense for 2.6 crores. I didn't know why would you do that. They could have easily gone for another overseas batter or someone else because they already have so much of fast bowlers who they can work with. I think Marco Jansen can come around. You have Umran Malik who is there, and obviously they got Fazal Farooqi afterwards. So very, I am kind of. Yeah, so that will be my 11 for SRH. Would want to know your opinion. I think Johns's opinion, others' opinion on what do you think is SRH's best opening pair and who bats at 3, 4, 5.
So Vinayak, I'll come to you for this firstly, and then we'll go to Shubh and then John. So what do you think could be the best opening combination that SRH can put out on the first game?
That was actually very interesting. Like I didn't know about. I don't watch on dugout too much, so that was very interesting for me to know that Lara backs Abhishek Sharma as an opener because I know a lot of people who follow domestic cricket closely want Abhishek Sharma, the batter, to be used more because they is very highly rated and whatnot. So if Brian Lara thinks that, then if he's going to do it, then great. But in my 11, I had Aiden Markram and. Aiden Markram and Rahul Tripathi to open. But Simon Katich, I think in one of the press conferences, said that they see Rahul Tripathi as part of the 3, 4, 5, 6 options. So if Rahul Tripathi is, if Kane Williamson is 3, then Rahul Tripathi has to be 4. I don't see Kane batting at 4 that much. I think Kane is better off at 3. So if they see Tripathi as a middle order options, then what he said makes a lot of sense in terms of Abhishek and Aiden Markram. Abhishek opening, and then I see the second option as Aiden Markram. That could work. I right now have Abhishek and Rahul Tripathi and Aiden Markram as my 2 openers.
So, Shubh, what do you feel of could be the opening combination that SRH should be going in for?
So they have a number of opening options available, I guess. Aiden Markram, Kane Williamson, Rahul Tripathi, and if you just want to do something funky, not exactly funky in the same sense. I feel both Sundar and Abhishek Sharma have the potential to open, but given their combination, their team actually would revolve around Markram, Williamson, and Nicholas Puran a lot. So I would like to just disperse them as much as possible in the middle order. So because of that, I will open with Markram and Rahul Tripathi, followed by Williamson at number 3. My number 4 would be either of Sundar or Abhishek. My number 5 would be Puran, just because as I said, I would like to separate the 3 overseas batters as much as possible. So that is why I will have Puran at 5. Then my number 6 would be again either of Sundar or Abhishek, whichever one of them plays at 4, or the other one comes at 6. My number 7 would be Abdul Samad, and yeah, that is how my batting lineup would look like for them. I know that Puran would be better used at 4, but then if he comes at 4, I don't want that Sundar or Sharma to feel extra pressure at 5 to just kick on. And Puran can kick on from ball 1, so that is why I
Absolutely.
would keep Puran at 5, just because of the balance, just to keep the balance of the side going to as efficient as possible.
And Johns, what do you think should be SRH's opening combination?
Ideally, I didn't had Abhishek Sharma in the 11. I never thought of him opening. I don't hear dugout as well. My playing 11 was Ethan Makram opening with Rahul Tripathi. Then number 3 will be Kane Williamson. Number 4 will be Nicholas Puran. Mainly, I prefer Nicholas Puran number 4. The success he had in T20 format for Punjab when he had a great season, or for West Indies as well. And he's better player of that 6 to 15 phase as well. So he needs to come at number 4. So Nicholas Puran will be number 4. Then number 5 is really interesting, I would say, because I would be preferring Abdul Samad at number 5. That will be ideal because they don't have that Indian batter as well, experienced batter. So
True.
number 5 will be Abdul Samad. Then number 6 will be this Washington Sundar. Then number 7 will be Romario Shepherd. And they need a spinner as well. They have got Shreyas Gopal. So even though he hasn't played much for Karnataka, even for Rajasthan as well, he didn't play last season. But if you look at their team combination, they need to invest a leg spinner because it's necessary in T20 format as well. So Gopal will be coming. Then 3 fast bowlers with Bhuvaneshwar will be there. Then Karthik Tyagi will be there. Then this Umran Malik or Natarajan. This will be the my playing ground. I don't see Abhishek Sharma starting even. It will be a surprise if you look at the team combination. It is mixed on that way. So I believe this will be the playing ground.
Interesting. There is Duvuri is thrown in another name in the mix. What if they open with the Priyam Garg? And it's I mean he's thrown in another name into the mixer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can open. I think he did open in the playoffs of the 2020 season. We saw
Mhm.
that SRH kind of opened him against Delhi Capitals. He hit 1-6 and then got out. But really honest, having seen Priyam Garg since the last 2 seasons, I kind of like him, but still a long way to go in T20.
True.
Uh, he doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the power. Maybe he had some range against, let's say, 120, 130 pacers, but I think he has a lot of work to do against spinners and high pace. So right now I don't see him starting. I like Johnson's point about having Shreyas Gopal. Even I was thinking of, because there was that combination in my head also. So, but Shreyas Gopal having a poor IPL last season was my not that Abhishek Sharma had a bumper IPL, but I kind of felt that maybe they can have Abhishek and Sundar as your two spinners and move with the batting at Romario Shepherd at it. But I think his team also makes sense. So yeah, I think that will be all from SRH.
Surya has been quite active today, and he definitely has said that SRH should have gone for one of Shah Rukh Khan and Ishan Kishan given the purse that they had. Surya was personally surprised that they
That's
actually didn't
exactly
persist for long.
that I made the same point. I mean, they needed Ishan Kishan more desperately than Mumbai, and they had the perf, and why not? I don't understand how can you have Tom Moody, Brand Lara, I mean, all those people sitting around you. You are still on call with someone else, and then you don't get Ishan Kishan with the perf you have. So it was a shocker for me.
Fair call over there. So now a short word, I think, on two very expectedly unexpected calls on the auction table of neither Suresh Raina and Amit Mishra being picked. A short word on whether this could be actually the end for both of them in the IPL. And one short word, Vinayak, what do you say? Think of them not being picked, and how big a loss it will be for the IPL to not see to see the two of them.
So I mean, having followed CSK from the start, I mean, it's not possible to imagine a CSK side at their best without Suresh Raina. I mean, he was one of their. I mean, he will go down as one of their greatest. But I just have a feeling. I mean, he has age on his side. Speaking T20 wise, I mean, if he really puts his heart into domestic cricket and decides, okay, no, I'm not done yet. I mean, who's going to stop him from just going and having a great run in the domestics, and maybe if not this year, maybe come back next. I mean, I don't think 35 is too old for T20. I mean, him being a CSK, he should know that 35 is not too old, to be in the T20 league. So maybe it's not done yet. I mean, it doesn't. You can't rule out. Amit Mishra is one of the greats of the tournament. I mean, I saw Parth Jindal tweet yesterday saying, he is welcome at DC in any role that he wants. DC is yours, Mishi Bhai karke he had tweeted. Parth Jindal had tweeted. He could just transition into the dugout seamlessly. So, and maybe he has that rapport there and just go on to become a good coach. So I think it's nice. It's nice that they're getting the love from a lot of what I saw. I mean, they deserve. They're one of the greats of the tournament itself. If I could just have one more word before we close, I hope that maybe next year we have a chance to do this for the women's as well, because
hopefully they should.
I mean, it's just. I mean, I can't believe that we are in 2022 and still that we are talking about maybe next year. I mean, it's just.
It has been 5 years actually. It has been 5 years since people on Twitter are asking for a women's IPL. Initially, I thought it's okay. BCCI will need time, but I think that time has passed. It should have already started by now.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, we are sitting and talking about crores and crores of money. That was my biggest thing at the auction yesterday. You're talking about 500 and something crores, and all these big deals and all this for the men. I mean, it doesn't, like, you don't even have to go this scale for the women. Just do something, man. I mean, it's already 2-3 years late already. But I mean, just that, I just wanted to finish that saying, hopefully next time around we'll be doing such a talk for the women as well. So
absolutely. There is one interesting question that I think, and it has been answered earlier as well. What is the thought process of picking Fabian Allen to Mumbai Indians? I think we have already answered that in our discussion about the Mumbai Indians. And Surya has rightly said, as Lisa Staleka once said, the best time for a women's IPL was probably yesterday. I mean, it should have happened. It needs to happen. But yeah, I mean, both Amit Mishra, to return back to the topic, I think Amit Mishra and Suresh Raina are two of the standing pillars of the IPL. If an all-time IPL 11 is created, I think both immediately walk in hands down. Now let's do quick predictions based on the auction. Which are the 4 teams that look best set for a charge into the playoffs? I'll start with you, Sidheswar, and then I'll come down to the others.
So the out and out one name that easily comes to mind with the team that I've got obviously has to be Punjab Kings, and I might not have liked the CSK team last year, but what we know, I think Dhoni knows better. So I think CSK will also, I feel, will be one of the teams in the semis. Also feel, I think Lucknow Super Giants kind of make and. Keeping my kind of bias, I would want SRH, but just going on paper, I think MI will make the top 4. So for my 4 will be LSG, MI, CSK, and Punjab. Just on paper.
Jones, your 4.
First should be Punjab. Everyone will be accepting that fact. They have done a brilliant job in the auction, getting some very good T20 players. Then it's really tough to pick other 3. Every team has that loophole. Some of the team missing spinners, some of the team missing Indian core, etc. But still, like now will be one franchise in, because Andy Flower magic might work in IPL as well. He hasn't. He was with Punjab, but he was in that head coach. If you look at his history, I believe he will be somehow making the team into the playoff. So second will be Lucknow. And third, it's maybe it will be a tough. Some of them will be not accepting, but I still think RCB had a great bowling unit. They have Hazelwood is there, Siraj is there, Hasaranga is there. So already then Harsha Patel is there. So 16 overs between these four of them, and everyone has their own jobs as well. Like Hazelwood will be bowling with the new ball, Siraj will be bowling with the new ball, Harsha Patel will be coming in the end overs, Hasaranga will be coming in the middle overs. So almost 16 overs divided between four of them. So I believe RCB will be making into the playoff. And fourth team is really tough. There are lots of teams, but I would like to see CSK in the playoff. But still, it's really tough to tell the four team. I will be stopping with the three team: LSG, RCB, and Punjab Kings.
I think you've left an open field for anyone to charge in. Shubh, your top four for the playoff.
I think 5 teams did fairly well at the auction, and among those 5 teams, the one of those 5 teams is Chennai Super Kings. But I actually never predict Chennai to be in top four since 2018, and they have proved me wrong twice actually. But I will still like to continue the tradition, so I will name the other 4 sides. Not in order, of course. So my 4 sides would be Lucknow, because I think Lucknow has the least number of loopholes in their side. In fact, they have only one that another middle order solid Indian batter could have made their side really good. Uh, so I will start with Lucknow, followed by Punjab. Then I'll pick Mumbai, and my fourth team would be Delhi Capitals, just because uh, on 3 to 4 slots they are still looking for players, but they have a good potential to fill those slots, and other 5 6 6 slots look really good with Warner, Marsh, and the 4 people we retained. So yeah, Lucknow, Punjab, Delhi, and Mumbai.
So, Vinayak, I come to you. Your top four that you feel could possibly make it to the playoff if the IPL starts tomorrow.
I think the venues are going to play a huge role in terms of what they decide. I mean, hopefully there is a clarity on that soon, and all these predictions will make a little more sense if we know where they are going to play and what sort of pitches the teams are going to get. But just not taking any of that into account, last couple of seasons, like he just said before me, I predicted that CSK are not going to be there, and they've proven most of us wrong. So this time I'm going to predict they'll be in the top four, and maybe Johns has to put up with another season without playoffs. So I think CSK will be in top four. Punjab, I think everyone is going to agree they had the best auction possibly. So Punjab, CSK, MI, I think they are trying to undersell that, okay, we are building for the future, all that. That seems to be like, even from the fans, you're getting that sense, no, okay, don't expect anything from this. They're trying to underplay, but I think they're going to be in the top four as well. And I think Lucknow, purely because of Andy Flower and Gautam Gambhir, I think they're going to get their tactics right a lot. And that is going to be, I don't think they did too well at the auction, honestly, because 21 players they probably didn't plan too well. But I have a feeling that Lucknow will be top four just for Andy Flower and Gautam Gambhir, since I think think tank plays a big role in IPL. True. As we have seen already. So
absolutely well said. I think that's a very that's a good way to close out our predictions and this podcast auction review. So
I think you need to do your predictions as well. You can't get away without that.
Okay, yeah. Right? So I'll give my predictions. I think Punjab Kings easily. I think they've come out with after the auction with the best possible team. I think then personal biases aside, Mumbai, I think there is a lot of promise. CSK, I think because I think it is CSK, it is Dhoni. So and as IPL has always taught us, never ever discount what CSK and Dhoni do. They throw conventional metrics out of the park every single year. So CSK, and I think I'll also say Lucknow, because purely I think like Vinayakk said, it's the coaching the coaching unit that they've got of Andy Flower, Gautam Gambhir over there. So I think they will be able to help iron out a lot of the some of the flaws that Lucknow might have in their side. So that would be my top four.
I just want to say
Yeah, sure.
one thing. So all of us have said Punjab so confidently. It would be fun if they still don't make it,
If they don't make
and
it,
we
no,
come back to this, and yeah, it would be a good moment to
that would
laugh
probably
together.
be the most Punjab thing to happen ever. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if
absolutely.
you can't reach there
when you
with this
think
team,
for
I mean,
sure
when
they're
will
going
you?
to do something, where you're confident they're going to do something, it won't happen. That will be the most Punjab thing.
I think all of
Ab-
us also had. I think all the five of us
Lucknow.
had LSG too. I think.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that makes three.
Lucknow is still understandable because of the
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's because there is some sort of a pedigree that they have in terms of the people that are running it. But Punjab,
Hmm.
knowing if it, I mean, we might just have an egg
Nope.
on the face if Punjab don't make it.
Yeah.
But hoping for all the Punjab fans that especially I think they've been their happiness should sustain right through the season because they've been devoid of it for so long. But yeah, I mean, I think with that we come to the end of this episode. A huge thank you to Vinayakk. Follow his work on the field and on the field because he covers sports so brilliantly. I think not just cricket, it's I think probably hockey is something that he covers with great clarity and the way he does covers hockey and every other sport. I think it's amazing. So follow Vinayak on Twitter and all his work on the field. Follow Shubh. Cricket.com puts out some crazy stuff thanks to him. So follow him. Johns, of course, I think he's already gotten too many followers. So, but yeah,
How many
keep
more? I
following Johns.
mean,
Keep following Johns and Sidheswar is one person who needs to be followed. A great person to talk cricket with, and also Sanchit is not here right now, but he had to leave off. He had to drop off, but great. He's also somebody worth following. So follow all these people on all their social platforms. Follow this YouTube. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like and share. Comment over here. Send all your bouquets, brickbats to me, Abhinav, on my Twitter handle, Abhinav_K1316. So thank you so much, guys. It was a huge pleasure and an honor to have all you gents over here to
And
talk IPL.
really well done, Abhinav. Enjoyed being on the show. Great hosting. So thanks for spreading it out nicely, and you did a great job. So just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you on another episode very soon. We'll keep you updated on our social platforms. Thank you so much, guys. Adios, amigos.